Hey, this is Vanner, and you're listening to Finding Frequency. This time around, I want to share something that happened to me or reminded me about something from my youth a couple of days ago. Now, at some stage, my brother sent me a message during the course of the day yesterday with a photo. I suspect that he was doing the rounds. I mean, he's a bit of a junkie when it comes to finding secondhand deals, not in a dodgy way. You know, he's a deal maker. He's a collector of all kinds of different things, and I suspect that he was on his mission at one of these secondhand stores, rumbling through things and probably tracking something down very specific. Now, in the process, or in that kind of process, he found all kinds of interesting things that reminded him of our youth together in a way. At some stage, I received a photo of a little pedal car that we used to share. In fact, I think that I was the original owner of this little red car, quite sizable thing. You can sit in it and then steer it and then also kind of drive it with pedal power. Loved that little car, and it was made of metal. I think probably some aluminium or something. It was light-ish, but wow, what quality, not the plastic stuff that the kids are having to play with today. Do I sound old when I say that? Perhaps a little bit. Now, that was not the thing that really caught my attention and made me think and reflect about life, and especially also the strange times that we are in. And I know I'm using the word strange times so much these days. But at some stage, he sent me a photo of a kind of governmental instruction panel. It's kind of a poster, but it's got 3D things on it. I remember I've seen these posters all over the place. I mean, we had them at schools, at malls, police stations. I think there might have been one in a church or two that I visited in my youth. And you'll always see them everywhere. Like today, we have these kind of hand wash instructions all over the place and social distancing. And I remember growing up seeing these red signs. They also had, like I mentioned, 3D kind of embossed things on them. I still remember the material those things were made of. It's like a solid kind of filling thing. I think it's what they used to do kind of thermal work around your house. You know, when you do insulation, it's kind of that spongy thing. It smooshes out and then becomes really hard. And they paint it in different colors. But when you see them, and maybe I need to let the cat out of the bag, it's a set of landmines, bombs, kind of, I think there's a few hand grenades at the bottom left. And so they kind of cut in half these elements of destruction, of killing weapons, and they are placed on this board with then specific descriptions painted in the real colors that are made of. And the bottom right has a landmine, and then you have on the top left, and I'll never forget the name of this thing. It's called a limpet mine. And then the bottom left, as I mentioned, you have these hand grenades and then a bunch of assorted kind of bomb things. Now, what is interesting about this is that as a youngster growing up in South Africa during the apartheid years, this was one of the other realities that we grew up with. I know we say a lot about South Africa being a violent place, and a lot of it's true. There's a lot of corruption going on, but we all love that country so much, and there's so much potential and so much beauty there too. And I'm not talking about the country, I'm talking about the people. But then we have these kind of strange things where, you know, I remember sitting in school halls multiple occasions where either a police officer or a teacher will come in and then take us through understanding how to spot these devices. And we used to be able to, or we were instructed to look out for them where we would go to have fun, to the movies, to restaurants, to all these places where we are supposed to be seemingly or supposed to be safe. And I find it strange that this is kind of one of the stories that has stuck with me over the years. And probably I'm over-laboring the story now a little bit and losing you a little bit. But why am I mentioning it? I think, even though it's such a negative thing, and I know people got hurt over the years and there's a lot of topics around it, at that point, we didn't really think about it. Yes, we had the fear in that moment of what those things will do to you and perhaps the people behind them that we were fearing. And now when I look back at it, it was just part of my story. It didn't leave a mark. It's just something that I lived through and I get to tell and share with you now. And I wonder what we're going to be talking about after everything's been said and done here. And probably also goes along with a note I got from a friend of mine in Switzerland, Rude. He was actually on this. No, he's not Rude. His name is Rude. He was on the show. He did one of the episodes where he shared. And he also asked this question, how will time judge us? So in a way, it's like twofold. It's like in one way, I hope to be sitting back in another 10 years' time and then thinking back about this time while I was talking to you about this strange, I said it again, pandemic. And then perhaps look at the sum of all these experiences I've had throughout the years. I can't say to you that everything of this pandemic has been bad. There are some really interesting things to consider. Human behavior, how we handle these things, how a small thing like a virus can impact our world so badly, so drastically. And then perhaps someday my brother will send me another text message. And I wonder what symbol would be in that message to capture kind of the essence and the feeling we're having or going through right now. Yeah, I just thought I'll share that. I wonder what kind of interesting stories you have, because I know I have a lot of friends listening to this like yourself all over the place. And I'm sure you've got interesting things that you can think back to, like these little icons that pop up. They don't have to be landmines, by the way, but I wonder what they are. Thanks for listening.